all, thanks Vishal for introducing me. I'm not sure how many people know me. Since last Tech Expo, I'm managing the finance of this and also of this event. So પહેલાથી નંબર સાથે રમવાની ટેવ છે. સો પહેલેથી નંબર સાથે રમવાની ટેવ છે. I am more in a data analysis. So ફાઇનાન્સનું જ્યારે પણ આવ્યું તો I got a chance to speak up to manage this whole operation and I hope everything is going great. Overall જમ્યા પછીની ઇવેન્ટ છે. I am sure feeling down. પણ this is really great assignment. આ જે સેશન આપણે જે કરી રહ્યા છીએ. India market is rapidly growing and expanding. કોઈ પણ બિઝનેસ જ્યારે ગ્રોઈંગ ને એક્સપાન્શન મોડમાં હોય તો વોટ ઇઝ નીડેડ? ધેટ્સ વન થિંગ, ફાઇનાન્સ. હાઉ યુ મેનેજ ફાઇનાન્સ, હાઉ યુ ગેટ સોર્સ ઓફ ધ ફાઇનાન્સ, હાઉ યુ સ્પેન્ડ યોર ફાઇનાન્સ, એવરીથિંગ ઇઝ ઇમ્પોર્ટન્ટ. That is what we would like to introduce today to our audience, that how you can help by analyzing multiple sources of finance that helps you to grow. As a Gujarati, જેમ આપણે વાત કરીએ છીએ દરેક વસ્તુમાં આપણે પ્રોફિટ જોઈએ છે, રાઈટ? સો આજે આપણા જે પણ સેશન્સ છે એમાં I would like to invite Mr. Hiren Trivedi to moderate this session. I would like to invite Hiren Trivedi, please. So let me introduce Mr. Hiren Trivedi. He worked with Credit Suisse Swiss Investment Bank for 25 years. Welcome, sir. 25 years he is working with Swiss Investment Bank, headed in Global Product Control Division. He is managing his Vyoma Capital family office from USA. His company ventured in Indian markets this year and have been actively investing. So he is going to lead this session, which we have curately designed, funding beyond equity, exploring alternative finance models. આમાંથી જ્યારે પણ ફાઇનાન્સની વાત આવે છે કેટલા રૂટ્સ આપણને ખબર છે, રાઉટ્સ કેટલા ખબર છે આપણને? સપોઝ કંપનીમાં પૈસાની લિક્વિડિટીની જરૂર પડી, કેશ ફ્લો મેનેજમેન્ટ કરવાની જરૂર પડી, then what are the different options? So these people know very well that whenever the company needs a cash flow, how to get it managed. And we have a very good line of panels discussion is going to be happen in few minutes. Our another speaker, Amit Jain, I would like to invite to come on a stage. Amit Jain is a co-founder of Asika Global Family Office Services, and they have investment of minimum ticket size of $20 million. I would like to let you invite by yourself, if you
invite to myself.
Introduce.
Okay. So guys, we have a family office based out of Mumbai. It's called Ashika Global Family Office Services. We have our own family office as well as we have multi-family office services. We have 28 family offices across the world. They work with us. So we create a pool of money and invest into various products, mostly into equities because that's what we understand pretty well, and that's where probably we created a wealth for our family. And now we are diversifying into startup ecosystem across the world. We are exploring territories like Europe, US, and India for making investment into startup ecosystem. That's what we are, and that's it.
Okay, thanks Amit sir. I would like to call on our next panel discussion speaker, Mr. Sharad Bansal. He is traveling from Mumbai all the way. Sharad Bansal is the founder and managing director of Warm-Up Ventures. This founder has already invested in 20 plus startups. He has evaluated 1,000 plus startups and in collaboration with 30 plus Indian global VCs. An IIT Delhi alumnus, Sharad previously founded Tinkerly, an edtech platform, scaled to 1 million plus students and was recognized by Forbes as an education evangelist of India. So thanks Sharad with us. Now move on. I would like to invite our next speaker, Mr. Winston Tixeira. giving introduction of Mr. Winston Tixeira. He is an Hendrickson India Capital managing annual $20 million fund. He is an MBA from University of Wales and had career sitting at Diluting Hospitality. Ericsson Indian Capital over 6 years managing a portfolio over 1800 crore rupees. He is an avid reader and likes reading and understanding startup. He is also an angel investor in 5 startups. So this line we have already set up in a panel discussion. I am over to Mr. Hiren to continue this session. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, I want everybody to ease out and relax. This is not something which we are testing or anything. And I have had wonderful time for 2 days meeting pretty much everyone other than, I think I knew Harshal from, that's what my very first contact in India when we did a project about 8 years ago, and I met him after, 12 years ago. And I met him after 12 years for the first time yesterday. The only person I knew was Harsh. He kind of forced me to come down here just to do and meet everyone around here in the IT ecosystem for Ahmedabad and Gujarat. And honestly, I can say it was well worth the time coming here and spending with you guys. Met wonderful people in 2 days, got to share, understand how things approach here. Very different than what we do down there, but again, very encouraging and very positive and optimistic alliance which you guys have. The setup was great. You guys did a great job at putting things together. And I think for more so when we got the questions and I think we all sat together and said, you know what, instead of making it more of a formal or a conversational where we are trying to use some terms from finance and making it hard for you, we want to keep it simple. I think all of these guys met you. Unfortunately, we couldn't get time to meet everyone at a stretch, but whatever time we could spend, we came up with a set of questions and things which we would like to discuss, then kind of give you an insight of how to do and what to do. You guys are founders, you guys run successful businesses. You guys don't know, we cannot teach you anything better to do your own business. But what we can do is, I think give you some pressure points where and how you can scale, bring you guys up to speed about valuing your own time, your own businesses and your own self. Believe, have that perseverance to go after a product which you guys are building and aim for a higher goal, right? Everything which I have seen in past 2 days, I feel that you guys still have a lot of potential, still need a lot of belief in yourself, and I see that you guys can do it. So I'll start the conversation and ask questions to these gentlemen, and probably we'll try to come up with a conversation which would give you some insight, give you some understanding, basic knowledge of when to raise funds, why to go with equity, why to go with debt, at what time you should do, and come up with a clear idea of how a startup works and how a venture capital works. And probably at the end we'll kind of give what we think as a VC fund. We look into startups, or we look into newer companies, or we look into financing anything. Doesn't necessarily it needs to be a pre-seed, seed, or IPO, but what are the aspects which kind of tick when we try to put our own money. So I'll start with Amit to begin with. How do you define a regular business versus a startup, and what differentiates both of them?
You said regular business versus startup.
Startups, correct.
So I think it's a very valid question, because nowadays when we go across the world, anyone who starts a new business, they say it's a startup.
Correct.
And I think this is a little misnomer for us.
Correct.
Because I understand, I respect all the entrepreneurs. We are also an entrepreneur. But startup requires 4 things, which is different from regular business. Number 1, it has to be innovative. Innovation can be in 3 forms. Number 1, either it has to be an innovative product, like probably mobile phone, or after mobile phone, probably smarter phones. They have been an innovation. This has actually changed the life for the larger audience.
Correct.
As an impact on the society, the way society behave. So either it has to be a product innovation, or it has to be a service innovation. For example, Uber is a service innovation. Or I can say Swiggy It's a service innovation, right? Probably it has changed the world, at least for Indians. It's very easy for us. If I go to Europe and tell them that on Zepto, in midnight I can get night suit within 15 minutes, they really get into complex, right? That how India can have such efficiency.
Correct.
So that's a service innovation. Or thirdly, it's a process innovation. This example is very close to my heart, and I'll take Indian example for this. The example I always talk about a company called Muthoot Finance or Manappuram Finance. What they have done, it is not a product innovation. Gold loan is in existence for last 2000 years, right? But कोई product का innovation नहीं किया उन लोगों ने, service भी innovate नहीं करी, सिर्फ पूरे process को re-engineer किया और उसको scale किया पूरी दुनिया के अंदर, पूरे हिंदुस्तान के अंदर, right? तो ये अगर तीन चीज़ों का innovation आपके साथ है, product का, service का या process का, then I think it can qualify for a startup.
Correct.
Also, it has to be scalable. For example, I open a sweet shop in a local area, and I say I got some innovative sweet,
Correct.
which I can cater to the audience, but I think sweet is a perishable item. However, you can take it to all India, right? It's a perishable item, right? So you cannot say it's a startup.
Correct.
Exceptions can always be there, but 90% startup in that area will always be a business, not a startup. So scalability also has to be a factor to differentiate between a regular business. Regular business generally generate cash flows.
Correct.
Very early.
Correct.
Startup may burn money for 2 years, 3 years, but of course if we see a scalability, of course it has a great scope to become a $1 billion startup.
Correct.
So that's how it generally differs in my view.
Very good differentiation what you mentioned about the cash flow, right? It is very important, and I think coming from Gujarat, and pretty much all of you guys relate with it, that the first thing we think is ke revenue કેટલી થશે, પૈસા કેટલા આવશે, right? That's the first question. So that is the parameter which kind of puts you into the sector where if there is already a market for it and you're going in and getting money right away, that probably would not qualify as a startup. It would technically be an enhancement or some advancement of your process, and you're innovating in that point. So very valid point. Thanks, Amit. We'll move on to the second one. Winston, I would like to get your thoughts on this. What different kinds of startup categorically we can have, and how they are classified?
Thank you. Thank you for that very, it's easy and complex at the same time. See, a startup, what do you think of a startup and a business? See, from a VC mindset, we do not distinguish. The set of parameters regarding investments are the same. Your business should be easy scalable. You have your Sam, Tom as well, service as well. And then also one parameter which we said is defensibility. How will your startup be defensible in a situation that where you scale? Once you reach a 50 crore ARR, that's when you come in the eyes of larger corporations. So what is your defensibility that will protect you from these larger players? So that is also one thing when you're scaling.
Correct. I'll go to the next question with you, but just to kind of elaborate what he said, right? In finance term, it's called a moat. What is your expertise or a specific identity which would safeguard your product? Who, let's say if you made an app which is helping your peripherals like an earphone or smart glasses, right? What is different that nobody else can make it and keep you running over a period of time where people adapt and you can grow faster? So that's one thing you have to keep in mind when you design product. And the reason why we are bringing it up is we met a lot of you guys who have either a service company and are developing a product in-house, or have a product company and working on a product. So these are the things which you have to funnel it through in order to make sure to validate. And I think that's the most important thing we missed from many of you when you were pitching, is the validation of the product. You guys are building phenomenal products, but the validation is something which you really need to kind of, if you do it in early stages, you'll be able to improve, pivot, or get to a point where you can get a mature product. Winston, in the same thing, what kind of different sectors or I would say diversification of startups we can have?
In terms of sectors can be quite diverse. Now, for example, like Mr. Amit said, like supplying a suite in a local area, you cannot call it a startup. But if you have a dark store and you're supplying sweets to all the people in Ahmedabad, Surat, means you have cracked distribution, you cracked the product. That is something which will get the VCs and investors interested in something like that.
Correct, correct. Then probably the most important question which most of you guys had or have asked during the session is I'll have Sharad and then all the other opine. What makes a startup fundable? How or when do you decide when you want to go out of your bootstrap or from your original funding or your family funding to going out in the market and get funds? At what point we decide that?
Yeah, so I think what makes you fundable is fundamentally that when you know how much money you need, what you want to with that capital. So simple, just in a simple language, if you go to your, let's say a friend that I need lakh rupees, would you give me? So generally you will be given, like the friend will give you like, okay, I will give you 1 lakh rupee, but what are you going to do with that, right? This is a simple question even your father would ask before giving you an X amount. Simple thing is with the investors also that if you want $1 million or 1 crore rupees from an investor, the investor would want to see that exactly what you want to do with that capital. Now the typical chart, pie chart explanation in a pitch deck is there in every pitch deck where certain percentage is going to marketing and then team and etc. But that has to have a solid foundation. काफ़ी लोगों ने आपको बोला होगा कि स्टोरी लाइन होनी चाहिए पिच डेक के लिए एंड देन आपका फाइनेंशियल्स क्लैरिटी होनी चाहिए. व्हाट इज स्टोरी लाइन? स्टोरी लाइन इज दैट व्हेन द डॉट्स आर कनेक्टेड, व्हेन यू नो यू आर सॉल्विंग an unsolved problem and something that is scalable. So when I say solving an unsolved problem is there are certain problems जो अभी क्रिएट हुई हैं. कुछ मार्केट में ऐसे पेन पॉइंट्स होते हैं, कुछ मार्केट की कस्टमर्स की ऐसी प्रॉब्लम होती हैं जो आज से 3 साल पहले एग्जिस्ट ही नहीं करती थी. सो दीज आर नाउ सॉल्वेबल बिकॉज उनके लिए कोई डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन एग्जिस्ट करता है या कोई टेक्नोलॉजी ऐसी मार्केट में आ गई है दैट दीज प्रॉब्लम्स आर नाउ सॉल्वेबल एंड दीज प्रॉब्लम्स हैव नाउ क्रिएटेड because some new technologies came, another set of problems have come. When AI was not there, there were those problems related to AI did not exist. But now all the new startup of voice AI agents exist because now GPT is much more advanced. So that technology has advanced, or in the case of let's say a lot of consumer brands can grow now in India because distribution has created, new distribution channels have been created. That now there is quick commerce or D2C that has grown up because of the logistic infrastructure which is available. So what makes your business fundable is the fundamental thing is that what problem that you're solving, do you know that, and can you relate it to the point of solution, and then if this solution big enough that it can scale, and then if this scales, who would you compete with, and if it's competing with, why you would be the best person to win that competition, and to win that competition how much capital you would need. So if you know a small prototyping elements of this, then you can say, okay, you can say I have spent 1 lakh rupees on marketing. I know my cost of customer acquisition was this. I have developed some initial level of technology. To be able to scale further, I would need to scale this similar cost of customer acquisition 100 times. I need to employ 10 more people and XYZ. So one is that of course you can simply create a standard template, pitch template, pie chart कि कहाँ fund utilize करना है. But when you have deep clarity कि ये 2 करोड़ या 1 करोड़ रुपए में जो लूँगा इसको ऐसे ऐसे यूटिलाइज करने वाला हूँ, दैट impresses a VC a lot and that is the best time to actually raise capital. Now the second thing, another thing in this is that is it a right capital or not for you, that is also defines your funding ability. So sometimes we raise too soon and sometimes we raise too late. So depending on your sector. So if there is a consumer brand, people usually want to invest when there is some initial traction. 5-10 लाख रुपए 2 लाख रुपए महीने का आपने सेल करना चालू कर दिया. कोई बहुत डीप टेक्नोलॉजी कंपनी है जिसमें 2 साल बाद 3 साल बाद रेवेन्यू आना चालू होगा, तो शायद आपको इनिशियली लैब में कुछ प्रोटोटाइप काम कर गया ग्रांट्स लेने के बाद, तो आपको फंड रेजिंग एबिलिटी बन जाती है. सो डिपेंडिंग ऑन योर सेक्टर यू वुड नो दैट ओके व्हाट इज द राइट स्टेज ऑफ रेजिंग कैपिटल, इक्विटी कैपिटल पर से, एंड देन if you have initially capital on your own, then you might initially fund yourself and then go for a larger equity or a debt round. So funding ability is a factor of your stage and your clarity of utilization of the fund that makes overall the business fundable. So usually we first ask money and then think of utilizing, but first invest a lot of time into utilization of capital. आपको शायद ये लगेगा कि नहीं है ज़रूरत, तो नहीं है रेज करने की ज़रूरत, तो आपको आप जाओगे ही नहीं इन्वेस्टर्स के पास.
Correct. A very good answer. Winston, do you want to add something to it?
So like Sharad said, your initial research and all should be done using equity, your own dilution. At this stage, don't prefer debt. Debt should be used once your fundamentals are proper, once you have your PMF set. So that is very important. If you raise early debt, you're confident on a product is good, but if you're raising debt because you're not able to raise equity, it
Correct.
masks a lot of broken fundamentals.
Correct.
So yeah, that is something I like to add.
No, very good answer. And to kind of summarize in a nutshell, like I think or probably what I've seen in 20, 25 years of looking at a lot of startups, try to keep it bootstrap as long as you can. Because the more you keep it bootstrap, the faster you'll be able to grow. Leaner the structure, leaner the operations, leaner the finances, you'll be able to grow much, much faster. And that's the segue to the next question is probably I think that would help you decide to go with a debt structure or an equity structure, which one to pick and when. That is a very important decision which you guys have to make, because you don't want to short sell the product which you have done. If you raise the first round at a certain valuation, you don't get the value for it if what you might have gotten if you would have extended yourself in making the product better, reaching out to more customers or gathering some momentum, you'll be able to get valuation much, much faster and in a better sense. So that's the decision which you have to make. And I would like Amit to kind of guide us with that, when to use a debt or when to use an equity, and how and in what capacity do we go and use
I think it's a difficult question to answer because it all depends on the industry to industry.
Correct.
When you want to raise equity, when you want to raise debt. However, broadly, how we see as a family office is, forget about family office. If I am a founder, if I am borrowing the fund at 8-9%, and that 8-9% borrowing is adding at least 30% to my sales every year.
Correct.
I think I would love to borrow rather than diluting my equity. I want to keep it too close to my heart. It's my equity, I am the stakeholder, and I am the owner, so I want to keep it. So far as my sales growth starts slowing down, and I think my business is coming to a plateau, then probably I would like more strategic investor who come and take my business to a next level. I don't
Correct.
want financial investors.
Correct. Correct.
I want strategic investor who can invest money in my business, who can invest their network in my business, take as passionate
Right.
as I am as a founder, and take my business to the globe.
Correct.
And
Correct.
scale it.
Correct.
Right.
And
So
just-
initially, of course, I go for debt because the
Correct.
cost of debt is much cheaper compared to diluting equity at a very early stage.
Correct. Very well said. And I think that's one valid point which I want probably a lot of people to understand. There are different types of investor. Investor not only comes in the form of finances as well. So there are then, and probably on a broader sense, we have two, like a strategy investor and then finance investor. I think Amit is the right person to answer it because he deals with these guys more often than anybody else. So I would like him to answer that question. How or what value does a strategy investor versus a financial investor, and in what sense they make and give to a company?
So honestly, the financial investor will only come to make money for himself, not for you.
Correct.
Right? Because he want to make money, he see an idea, I know his energy is very good. I'll channelize the energy, invest in him, and say कि भैया 2 साल हो गए भैया पैसा वापस करना शुरू कर. In short.
Right.
अगर मैं strategic investor हूँ and I am from the same industry and I understand the study very well,
Right.
probably I will become a partner to him, not a financial investor. So I can give my strategies to him. I will invest not only my money, I'll invest my emotion with him
Correct.
in his startup because then we become a co-partner for it. So जो strategic investor है वो बहुत important होता है जब आप early stage पे अपने startup को आप आगे लेके जाते हो.
Correct.
And वो आपको पैसा भी invest करेगा, वो network भी invest करेगा, आपके लिए अपने customers भी open करेगा across the geography और आपके लिए later stage पे आपके लिए valuation के लिए investors भी लेके आएगा.
Correct.
So he become a partner to me.
Correct.
So strategic investor is more which is aligned with the long-term objective of the startup,
Correct.
and it has the same belief system
Correct.
as the founder
Agreed.
itself.
Agreed. Very
Because,
important.
because every startup is an outcome of a belief. If I believe my idea is good, I live up to it, right? Then that's a
Yeah,
strategic
you'll
investor.
back
for me.
it to the hilt. And
Absolutely.
And I think Sharad's company is kind of the best example what he can give. And I would like to get his thoughts on we didn't plan to do the strategy investment, but I think this is something very important for you guys to learn and understand is who to get money from and how to get money from is probably the most important thing which you guys have to make when you guys go public in using funds and getting leverage. So sir, if you can explain a little bit more on the shared or the value added investor group.
Correct. So I think in continuation to what Amit said about the value of the strategic investor, so स्ट्रैटेजिक की डेफिनेशन है एक स्ट्रैटेजिक ऐसा इन्वेस्टर होता है जो कि एक एंजल इन्वेस्टर की कैपेसिटी में आपकी कंपनी में आ रहा है विद अ स्मॉल स्टेक बट हैज सम इंडस्ट्री कनेक्शंस एंड वांट टू हेल्प यू आइदर ऑन द प्रोडक्ट साइज या फिर टेक्नोलॉजी में या फिर सेल्स या बिजनेस साइड में क्लैरिटी के अंदर या डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन के अंदर डिपेंडिंग ऑन द सेक्टर. सो दैट इज द डेफिनेशन ऑफ एंजल. This is a Silicon Valley coin term, angel, and then you are supposed to really play the role of the angel. So initial years में अगर आपको 1 2 3 लोग ऐसे मिलते हैं तो that is a very good advantage. But who is the right investor for you is also a very good question to answer yourself first. So अलग अलग तरह के इन्वेस्टर्स होते हैं. अगर आप इक्विटी में देखोगे तो there are angel investors, there are micro venture capital firm, there are larger venture capital firm, there are private equity investors. Then there are strategic family offices and इस पूरे के अलावा आपको किसी कॉर्पोरेट से भी कैपिटल आप उठा सकते हो अगर इक्विटी की हम बात कर रहे हैं. एंड देन देयर आर डेट इंस्टीट्यूशंस आल्सो. तो वीसी के पास आपको कैपिटल लेने के लिए तभी जाना है व्हेन यू थिंक दैट वीसी कैन मेक अ 20 to 30x आउटकम फ्रॉम योर बिजनेस. नाउ यू वुड थिंक व्हाई 20-30x आउटकम. वीसी तो सारे लॉस मेकिंग बिजनेस में पैसा डालते हैं तो हमसे क्यों 20-30x की एक्सपेक्टेशन करते हैं. तो कितने तो होते हैं क्योंकि वो इतने लॉस मेकिंग बिजनेसेस में भी डालते हैं तो उतने ही बिजनेसेस फेल भी होते हैं. सो एवरी सिंगल बेट इज सपोज टू ग्रो लाइक दिस. तो अगर उन्होंने 10 जगह पैसा डाला 4 जगह फेल होगा, लेकिन एवरी सिंगल कंपनी वो उस नज़रिए से देखते हैं कि ये इकलौती कंपनी मेरे पूरे फंड का आरओआई निकाल के दे सकता है. मैं आपको वीसी की साइकोलॉजी बता रहा हूँ इस एंगल से. व्हेनेवर यू विल मीट अ नेक्स्ट वीसी आपको पता होगा कि वो मुझसे क्या एक्सपेक्ट करता है. So when your company's projections are like this, for example, you will grow 5 times in next 5 years, then how can you expect a VC to make a 20x outcome in your company? So वो highly scalable companies के अंदर ही venture capital funds invest करना चाहते हैं. तो अगर आपकी इंडस्ट्री ऐसी है कि आज आप 50 करोड़ की वैल्यूएशन में फंड उठा रहे हो, लेकिन अगर ये प्रोडक्ट या टेक्नोलॉजी चल गई तो ये 5,000 10,000 20,000 करोड़ की कंपनी भी बन सकती है और कम से कम 1,000 करोड़ की कंपनी तो बन ही सकती है. सो देन VCs विल टेक इंटरेस्ट, क्योंकि एक VC आएगा उसको एग्जिट देने के लिए, दूसरा आएगा उसको एग्जिट देने के लिए, तीसरा आएगा, फिर IPO होगा. अगर ये सब नहीं है, अगर आपको लगता है कि यू आर वर्किंग ऑन अ बिजनेस विच इज़ अ स्वीट 200 करोड़ बिजनेस दैट यू कैन क्रिएट एंड दैट वुड बी अ वेरी हाई मार्जिन 20-30% प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी यू कैन गेट इन दिस, तो आप इनिशियल ईयर्स में आप एंजल कैपिटल उठा लो. 2-3-5 करोड़ का आप किसी इंडिविजुअल से, HNI से, फैमिली ऑफिस से आप कैपिटल उठा सकते हो. एंड देन कीप ग्रोइंग विदाउट बर्निंग मच. आप बहुत ही फंडामेंटली अच्छे तरीके से प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी उस कंपनी को बिल्ड करो एंड देन यू कैन थिंक ऑफ एन पब्लिक मार्केट ओपनिंग. IPO आप प्लान कर सकते हो, SME कर सकते हो, लार्ज मेन बोर्ड कर सकते हो, डिपेंडिंग ऑन दिस. एंड इन बिटवीन जो भी फंड की रिक्वायरमेंट है, क्योंकि आपका बिजनेस और धंधा जो भी है प्रैक्टिकली प्रॉफिटेबल होगा, तो आपको डेट भी इजीली मिल जाएगा उस जर्नी में. तो शुरुआत से जिस दिन आप आइडिया सोच रहे हो उसी दिन से डिसाइड करो. देखो इट लुक्स ग्लैमरस कि आपने $1 बिलियन कंपनी बनाई है, बट इन द एंड $1 बिलियन कंपनी का आधा % आपके पास है या फिर 500 करोड़ की कंपनी का 50% या 70% आपके पास है. बात एक ही है इन टर्म्स ऑफ एन ROI टू द फाउंडर.
Very well said, very well said.
राइट. सो अगर आप उन चीज़ों को सोच के पहले दिन से ही आपको ये पता हो कि ये इन्वेस्टर मेरे लिए सही है, और थोड़ा रिसर्च भी कर सकते हो, कभी किसी इन्वेस्टर से मिलते हो कि इन्होंने किस कंपनी में इन्वेस्ट किया. यूजुअली एवरी VC फंड ऑन देयर वेबसाइट राइट कि हम इस तरह की कंपनी, इतने बड़ा चेक इस स्टेज पे इन्वेस्ट करना पसंद करते हैं. तो अगर ये आपको पता होगा, उनका पोर्टफोलियो पता होगा, तो यू विल बी मच बेटर प्रिपेयर्ड टू रेज फ्रॉम द इन्वेस्टर्स. सो दिस इज दैट इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट कि आपको किस तरह से फंड रेजिंग का प्लान करना चाहिए.
Thank you. Sure, go ahead.
On that, see, on a VC's mindset, you raise 10 crore rupees, you make a business, you burn 2 crores, make a business worth 20 crores, best. The VCs will admire you. You raise 50 crores, you burn the business from 0 to 200 ARR, like Sharad said, but fundamentals are strong, still works.
Correct.
You raise 10 crores, you burn 5 crores, reach a 2 million ARR, 2 crores ARR, you're probably too early or something's broken in the company.
Correct.
So that is how the VC mindset works.
Correct, correct. It's very calculative in the way things work and how we see companies when scalability-wise, funding-wise, run rate-wise and all that. The questions are valid because it gives to understand the risk portfolio, what we all manage. And that's probably the biggest decision-making factor for all of us. I have one question now for the next, which is in two parts. One, what are the different kind of financing which are available for founders or co-owners?
See, if you're an early stage startup, still figuring out a product, it's best to get incubated. And there is a lot of grants available. So use that grants money to do your R&D and get the PMF. Once you're fit with PMF, you can take in like angels. Once you reach your certain scale, that's when like VCs come into play. And you're confident on your capital allocation, how it is, debt works best. So debt is not bad, debt is good if your plan, your capital plan is in order. So debt will save you a lot of equity, like Sharad said, in a 500 million company, you can actually save 17 to 18, 20% of your equity if you use smart debt.
Correct. Yeah. And to extend this question, can alternative financing help founders delay in volatile markets, and if so, how?
Sorry, can you repeat?
Sure, sure. Can alternative financing help founders delay in any avoiding down rounds or raising in the markets which we are in now, which is more volatile?
Yeah, definitely. So I think alternative financing, the founders are used to be, founders has to be a smarter person in terms of using capital and then where to raise that capital from. When there are, so equity rounds might also be a factor of market. Then when there would be years when a lot of venture capital money is pumping in the market, and there might be years where VCs are very, very stringent in terms of to invest, and then very limited capital coming in, or your valuations are not being given that high. So in such situation, अगर आपका business fundamentally अच्छा चल रहा है, if your margins are increasing, if your numbers are increasing, then you will have the options to raise capital. If you have been only surviving on the VC capital, even in such situation, you will not be able to raise the debt capital. But if your fundamentals are right, so those kind of timelines, those kind of down or bearish markets, only the companies जिनके fundamentals अच्छे होते हैं, they are able to survive, because they can raise either smaller equities or they can use debt rounds. Okay. So debt जब होता है तो आपके डाउन राउंड सेव हो जाते हैं, और यूजुअली वेंचर कैपिटल फंड जब इन्वेस्ट करते हैं तो देर आर एंटी डाइल्यूशन प्रोसेसेस. तो अगर आपका डाउन राउंड हो गया और एंटी डाइल्यूशन हो गया तो देन द एंटायर कंपनी इज जेओपार्डाइज. तो डेट एक बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट चीज़ है. मोस्ट कंपनीज बंद भी डेट के फेलियर्स की वजह से होती हैं, और मोस्ट कंपनीज सेव और बड़ी भी डेट की वजह से ही होती हैं. सो एग्रेसिव डेट्स हैव क्लोज्ड कंपनीज, and also debt has saved companies from saving equity and getting better pricing in the future round.
Very well said. Now, particularly for you guys, most of you guys are service-based companies, provide services here, overseas. I'll repeat the same question for the co-founders and CEO who are doing service business and have a product to sell or pitch, or develop a product or sell or pitch. How do we structure their company?
Correct. So first of all, to answer a question for yourself, that why are you building this product, and why do you want to raise separate capital for that product? That answer is important. Some people just want to raise capital for the sake of it because it is fancy. Some people really know that, okay, this product cannot be developed without an external capital, because I see a lot of the promoters have their ability to invest themselves in those products, but it's still raising. And now, even if you want to structure it and you want to raise these capitals, so there are two ways of doing it. या तो founders should realize that, okay, their services business is near to saturation, कि अभी इसमें ज़्यादा growth नहीं हो रही है, साल भर 20-30% का annual growth हो रहा है, तो ये एक बड़ा आउटकम निकल के नहीं आ सकता। और वेल्थ क्रिएशन करना है तो एक न्यू एडवांस टेक्नोलॉजी बिजनेस बनाना है, तो आपने इन हाउस एक प्रोडक्ट बनाया, उसको बिल्ड किया पैशनेटली, और अभी उसमें आप ग्रो करना चाहते हो। तो योर स्ट्रैटेजी हैज़ टू बी, इफ़ यू वांट टू रेज एक्सटर्नल कैपिटल, आपको फुली कमिटेड होना पड़ेगा उसी स्टार्टअप में, उसी प्रोडक्ट पे। नो वेंचर कैपिटल फंड विल बी इन्वेस्टिंग फॉर अ, यू कैन से, डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड एफर्ट फ्रॉम दी फाउंडर, की आप अपनी सर्विस कंपनी भी चला रहे हैं और आप अपना प्रोडक्ट भी बना रहे हैं और उसके लिए कोई कैपिटल डाल देगा। ये पब्लिक मार्केट्स में हो जाता है, आपने देखा होगा पब्लिक मार्केट कंपनीज के प्रमोटर्स 3, 4, 5, 10 कंपनी चला रहे हैं, दैट इज अ डिफरेंट थिंग, वो मेच्योर कंपनीज हैं। एक जीरो से किसी कंपनी को 100 टाइम्स बड़ा बनाने के लिए 18 आवर्स, 100 आवर्स, अनलिमिटेड अमाउंट ऑफ एफर्ट इज रिक्वायर्ड एंड नो वीसी फंड इज गोइंग टू इन्वेस्ट इन दैट। तो आपके 2-3 तरीके हो सकते हैं, जैसे कंपनीज ने किया भी है इसको, जहाँ पे सर्विसेज कंपनी से ट्रांजिशन हुए हैं बड़े बड़े स्टार्टअप्स, बट वहाँ पे फाउंडर्स ने 100% टाइम कमिट किया है अपने स्टार्टअप के ऊपर, एंड दे हैव पुट देयर सर्विसेज कंपनीज ऑन ऑटो पायलट। तो उनके आपके CXOs होंगे या VPs होंगे या नेक्स्ट लीडरशिप होगी, दे हैव एलिवेटेड देम टू रन द सर्विसेज कंपनी एंड दे देमसेल्व्स हैव फुली फोकस्ड ऑन द स्टार्टअप। या दूसरा तरीका यह है कि अगर आपकी सर्विस कॉम्प्लीमेंट, अगर आपका प्रोडक्ट कॉम्प्लीमेंट करता है आपके सर्विस को, तो आप दोनों को मर्ज करके भी रेस कर सकते हो। सो देन यू डोंट हैव टू गो फॉर अ सीड और प्री सीड राउंड, आप डायरेक्टली एक टेक्नोलॉजी प्रोडक्ट को अपनी सर्विसेज कंपनी के रेवेन्यू के साथ मर्ज करो एंड एक अच्छा डिसेंट राउंड आप प्री सीरीज ए या फिर एक इवन आप स्मॉल SME लिस्टिंग भी प्लान कर सकते हो, अगर आपका 50-100 करोड़ का टर्नओवर सर्विस कंपनी के अंदर है और एक नया टेक्नोलॉजी प्रोडक्ट लेके आ रहे हैं। तो स्ट्रक्चरिंग इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, उसी के हिसाब से आपका टाइप ऑफ कैपिटल डिसाइड होगा, शुड यू रेज फ्रॉम VC और शुड यू रेज फ्रॉम पब्लिक। या दूसरा तरीका ये भी है कि अगर शुरुआत का प्री सीड राउंड एटलीस्ट आप अपनी सर्विसेज कंपनी से कर दो, अपनी ही कंपनी से। कई बार लोग वैसे भी करते हैं कि आपकी कंपनी में ही इंट्राप्रेन्योरशिप मोटिवेट करते हैं कि आपकी कंपनी के एम्प्लॉयज़ या सीनियर लीडरशिप ही नए नए प्रोडक्ट वर्टिकल्स को लीड करें। तो यू कैन बिकम अ स्वीट ऑफ प्रोडक्ट्स, जहाँ पे आपने अपने ही टॉप परफॉर्मिंग एम्प्लॉयज़ को इनेबल किया कि वो अपने स्टार्टअप्स बनाएं कंपनी के अंदर से, आपने उसको रिसोर्सेज से, कैपिटल से, टेक्नोलॉजी से सपोर्ट किया। You can have 25-30% of equity as an investor and advisor and let that person lead that company. So ये तीनों तरीके से मॉडल्स वर्क किए हैं for different companies, but everything comes back to fundamentally आप क्यों कर रहे हो ये, और उसी से आपको सही आंसर उसका मिलेगा।
Correct. Now, great. And I think we have very short time, so I want to keep more time for questions, because spending time with you guys, we couldn't give enough time to a lot of people. So we would like to kind of open it for people who have questions. We can answer in the best of our capacity, give you guys any insight or help. We would love to do that. So if somebody can get mic over there to people who can ask questions. You can use that one. You can start with him.
Yeah, hi, I'm Rutuj. My question is, you have mentioned about raising initial rounds via FNF or some multiple angel investors and all. I want to understand, does it impact in terms of cleaning the cap table later when we are onboarding any institutional VC?
I would like Sharad to answer that.
Yeah, I think I mean, nowadays, 10 years back in my company, I would have raised from 40 odd different angel investors, because there was no other way to raise that. Now there are angel funds that exist, or there are other vehicles that exist by which you can keep your cap table clean. क्यों ये cap table का क्वेश्चन आता है, मैं उसका रीजन दे देता हूँ. Whenever there are future rounds happening, अगर कोई भी एक एंजल इन्वेस्टर उसको ब्लॉक कर देता है तो इट क्रिएट्स इश्यूज, या फिर कोई भी एग्जिट हो रहा है, कोई आपकी कंपनी को एक्वायर करने आ रहा है, या फिर लिक्विडिटी इवेंट्स हो रहे हैं, उस टाइम पे वो जो 40 लोगों के आपको सिग्नेचर्स कराने पड़ेंगे, दैट विल क्रिएट अ नाइटमेयर फॉर योर कंपनी. तो आज के टाइम पे एंजल फंड से आप उस पर RUV बना सकते हो, सो दैट सारे एंजल इन्वेस्टर्स एक सर्टेन व्हीकल के साथ आपकी कंपनी आप उसमें इन्वेस्ट करें, और आपकी कंपनी पे एक सिंगल कैपिटल होगी, एंड वन लीड इन्वेस्टर वुड बी ऑथराइज्ड टू do that.
Wait, a good question. Can we have the next one?
What is the usual equity ask from a strategic investor?
Okay.
I mean, I have heard of this term for the first time, so I'm curious to know more.
So strategic investor will take probably anything between 15 to 20%, because he's investing two things in your company. One, he's investing his money. Number two, he's investing his network. for you. If he's actually a serious investor, he'll start with 20%, and somehow he'll try to raise it even further as you grow together. Because anything less than that will not give a kicker to the strategic investor.
Correct, correct. And to add on to this, you as a founder do not want to give away more equity, because then you want to grow the company much faster. So the network and the money which you get should give you enough momentum to push forward and grow the company faster for the strategic investor. Great.
I would like to add on the strategic part कि strategic दो तरह के होते हैं. एक आपके similar nature of business में हैं, जो कि similar ही काम करते हैं. My personal suggestion is कि strategic investors बहुत जल्दी कंपनी में ना लो, क्योंकि अगर उस strategic investor ने future rounds में आपको back नहीं किया, then no other investor would be coming in the company, because they already they understand the sector, और वो आपको support भी कर सकते हैं. और in case they decide not to invest in any of your future round, your fundraising is going to be very very difficult. हाँ, आप ऐसे strategic को लाओ जो कि आपके non competing business में है, लेकिन आपको help कर सकते हैं. और स्मॉल चेक लाइक 10-15% स्टेक तो वैसे भी कोई भी वेंचर कैपिटल लेता है, बट यूजुअली जो ट्रेडिशनल स्ट्रेटेजिक इन्वेस्टमेंट होते हैं वो 25-30% के ऊपर वाले होते हैं, एंड यूजुअली दे आर एट अ ग्रोथ राउंड जब कंपनी ऑलरेडी एक स्केल पर पहुंच चुकी है. तो स्ट्रेटेजिक वी बी वेरी केयरफुल इन टर्म्स ऑफ रेजिंग स्ट्रेटेजिक इन्वेस्टर्स. स्ट्रेटेजिक की डेफिनेशन इसलिए मैं क्लियर कर रहा हूँ, स्ट्रेटेजिक कॉम्पिटिटिव इन्वेस्टर है जो आपके ही सेक्टर में काम करता है, उससे थोड़ा सा केयरफुल रहना चाहिए. स्ट्रेटेजिक सपोर्ट के नेचर से, डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन के नेचर से है, तो दैट इज गुड इन्वेस्टमेंट.
Great, great. Next question.
Thank you. Anyone have any question? I think this is a really great discussion. So just to give you a heads up, like in these 2 days, we found that 24 product features. This we evaluated their pitch deck. They have given their suggestions. They have given their network access. And it's really great platform by Gujarat Tech Expo that they can build up their ecosystem from there. So thanks panel for your time and everything. So I would like to facilitate you guys. I would like to call Mr. Harsh Mehta for Amit Jain. So giving introduction of Mr. CA Harsh Mehta, who has identified those wishes and help us to curate these 28 products out of 50 submissions across the India. So big thanks to Harsh Mehta and Amit Jain. I would like to call Tapan Bhai for to facilitate Mr. Winston. Taral Bhai. Harshal Bhai for Sharad Bansal. Harshal Bhai, please come on a stage to facilitate Mr. Sharad Bansal. I would like to request Nirav Bhai to facilitate our moderator today, Hiren Bhai. Thanks for moderating us for the same really great discussion. Nirav Bhai. I would like to invite on a stage Rupin Patel and Tushar Shah from Ekatva Capital, who has also helped us in product pitching in this last 2 days. We also thankful for Vedant Patel and Ajay Rana from Promise Opportunity Fund. Yes, Tapan, please. Last but not the least, I would like to thank to Mr. CA Harsh Mehta, who has arranged us this whole session for this last 2 days. Many of us was not allowed over there, but it was really great parallel track we have managed. I would like to facilitate him by myself. Thank you.
Everyone, please be on stage. We want to take a group picture of you. भाई group photo ले लो एक. नहीं पहला हमनो ले लो. Okay, can you please take a group picture of everybody together?
Pinakin, you can come here. Tejas, you along with all investors, please. Yeah, you all can come. Yeah, please join them. Yeah, one of them. Yeah, you can go over there. All right, thank you guys. Thank you very much. Thank you for being here, traveling from quite a distance, making sure that you give your values and experience to us.